Hello. I'm once again saying my name over and over again. My shoulder hurts. Pain's gotten worse and worse. But we're almost done. It's almost there. I say we because I feel like my entire family has sacrificed so much so that I could do this, especially over Christmas. Yeah. Anyway, I'm doing it. It's happening. I am signing my name over and over again. I've got number you see behind me is the number I have to go. Not really. I mean, it's that plus about 4,000. So it's really is the final countdown. We're at the end. Shoulder is completely jacked up. Tried to go bowling last night. It was utterly impossible. I had to bowl with my left hand, and then eventually I just quit because I'm not a very good left-handed bowler. And I'm excited to be publishing a new book. The advanced readers copies are here, and it just feels like it's happening. I just wish that I'll be honest, I'm a little ready to be done. It's interesting because on the one hand, I'm sad because I know I'll never get to do this again, and it really is a privilege and something that I've appreciated and enjoyed a lot over the last 13 years, and I'm going to be sad when I can't do it anymore. On the other hand, like, nothing helps with loss quite like pain, and it does hurt every single time I sign, so I won't miss it that much. But yeah, it'll be good to start to get some rest and like do a little recovery, depending on how I end up. They're going to give it like a week after I stop signing, and then they're going to look at it again, and then depending on what that looks like, that'll decide whether or not I get like physical therapy and stuff, or cortisone shot, or what the next step is. But for now, I gotta just finish it off. Yeah, so I'm happy to be live streaming. It's nice to be. I've been signing so much without live streaming. It's kind of a nice shift to be live streaming while I sign. And I'm on the last color. This color doesn't have a name, at least not that I know of. I got it off pensandpencils.net. I was like, I just need another color. And it looks like teal, but the actual teal is a color that looks much more like green, which is called tiger eye teal. I think this should just be called teal because it is teal. I mean, if you Google teal and you look at the like Pantone color or whatever, it looks exactly like this. But this is the last color. Basically, I'm just doing overage now. So you have to sign more than 100,000 to sign 100,000 because the printer is going to eat some, and there's just always things that go wrong in the actual like binding process. So I'm basically signing 110,000, and this is the last. Like, I think I have 70. Last night I had 7,100 to go. So today I probably have like 7,000 or so to go. So definitely the end. On the other hand, 7,000 is a lot. So yeah, but it is the final countdown. I'm going to stream today, then tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday I'm out of town with my family, which is going to be awesome. We're going to celebrate New Year's with our friends, and then so we're driving out to Chicago to do that, and then I'll come back, and hopefully, I mean, I don't know how much I'm still going to have to do, but hopefully I'll finish it all on Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday pack it up, and Monday morning they come to take the boxes to Pennsylvania. Nope, Virginia. I don't know why I always say Pennsylvania, but the printer is in Virginia, and that's where the books are getting printed and bound and everything. And then it'll be at your doorstep before you know it on March 18th. What is a reasonable PSPD pages signed per day? Well, thanks for asking. Basically, it takes 2 hours to sign 1,000 if you count all the electro jogging and stacking and shaking my arm out and everything. So a reasonable PSPD would be 2 to 3,000. That's 4 to 6 hours. But I can go longer. I mean, I probably did 4,000 yesterday. I'm just trying to get finished. So I'm pushing pretty hard. But it's hard to do more than 4,000 because the other thing is that like my arm, which always hurts, starts to hurt real bad, and it just becomes like the signatures don't look right. The pain is a little too intense. So yeah. I'd move the box in the background just in case somebody can zoom in on that packing label. It's a great point, Kimmy. And thank you for donating $5 to AFC Wimbledon's playing fund. Hopefully nobody can, but yeah, don't come to my house. Don't come to my house. That should just be a rule, a general rule. Yeah, the tour dates are coming out other side, John. Wrong box. Oh, this one? That one? Yeah. Oh my God. All right, I think we got it. Yeah, the tour dates are going to be announced next week. Geez, soon. So that's exciting. I hope people come to the tour. I'm nervous about it. I haven't toured for a book since 2017, and both my books and my audience were very different then. So I don't know how many people are going to, Jen says we do not go to John's house. It's true. We also don't send mail to John's house. We don't look up where John's house is. It's weird. Yeah. The UK edition, there is a signed UK edition available from Waterstones if you are in the UK or anywhere else that you can buy from Waterstones. And there's going to be about 6,000 signed copies there, which I have not done yet. I keep forgetting about those. So that's gonna be challenging. Those are supposed to come next week. So they're not in the building yet. That's why I keep forgetting about them. But I can sign them. I'll get it done. Am I excited about 2025? Asks Alexis. I mean, Alexis, I don't know if I'm excited. I'm nervous. I mean, I'm nervous on a macro level, of course, but I'm also nervous on a micro level because it's going to be probably the most travel I've ever done in my life. Maybe in 2008, I might have traveled more some year like that before we had kids. Maybe 2013 or 2014 when the Fault in Our Stars was blowing up, but I'm traveling 120 days next year. Long book tour, going to Sierra Leone, hopefully going to Lesotho in the Philippines, going to Copenhagen for a TB meeting, just a lot of TB stuff. So I'm excited. I like to travel. I'm going to miss my family a lot. But yeah, going to Peru to learn about TB in Peru, which I'm excited about. I've never been to Peru before. And so there's a lot of travel coming up. So that's mostly what I'm thinking about. And then I don't know how the book is going to be received. So that's always nervous making. Hope people like the book. Yeah. That's my main feeling at the moment is that you never know. You do your best and then have to let it go. Such a weird thing. Joseph says, go Wombles, go Wombles. AFC Wimbledon, the real life AFC Wimbledon's playing today. It's almost the January transfer window, so we're about to find out who our money is buying. And that's exciting. I'm excited. right, I'm going to lock in for a while. Just going to go in the zone. Hurts. SK54 says this is highly entertaining. It's like a Warhol movie, you know. Like sometimes I think about that like when I'm signing, it's just like I'm living a Warhol movie. And yeah, that's okay. It is what it is. Is there a list for the colors? Oh, heck yeah, there's a list for the colors. I might be able to recite it from memory, but I'm sure Jen has access to the, can share the list with you. But I would love to go to Asia. I might be going to the Philippines in 2025, and I would do an event if I went, but I don't know how it's going to work yet. Let's see if I can get it right. 0 to 10,000 is green. 10 to 20 is blue. 20 to 30 is peacock. 30 to 40 is berry. 40 to 50 is red. 50 to 60 is purple. 60 to 70 is navy. 70 to 80 is rocket fuel red. 80 to 90 is intergalactic indigo. 90 to 100 is tiger eye teal. And 100 to 110 is this color, whatever this is called, I think. Any hints for tour date stops? Kimmy, I think, aren't you in Colorado? I think I'm coming near you, if that's helpful. That's a hint. Yeah, it's a lot of the major U.S. metropolitan areas. Except I don't think I'm going to Florida. I am going to Florida next month for an event in my old hometown of Orlando. But other than that, I don't think I'm going to Florida on tour. Adam says, I just ordered for the UK. Thank you, Adam. Oh, hey, should I share this? Should I share a link to this live stream on Blue Sky and Threads and stuff? I feel like I should. I feel like if I was a good steward, I would do that. Passed you on the street yesterday, but didn't say hi and didn't want to bother you and your family. So this is me saying hi, Aaron says. Oh, that's nice, Aaron. Thanks. And thanks for donating $3 to AFC Wimbledon's playing fund. Where was I yesterday? On the street. I feel like I didn't go outside yesterday, Aaron, but maybe it was 2 days ago when I was like downtown on Mass Ave, and I went to the pinball arcade. That was really fun. Anyway. Oh, and Gabriel just became a Wimbledon. Yes, 2 days ago near Bottle Works. Oh yeah. Well, Aaron, that was nice. Thanks for saying hi. That's very nice of you. And it would have been great to meet you. Never feel afraid to come up and say hi, but I was with like a lot of family and grandparents and everything. So I appreciate that you were probably like, man, it looks like he's kind of overwhelmed. What's up? Asks Blue Sky. I am signing my name over and over again, live inside your internet. Come say hi. And then I'm going to post that. And then I'm going to post the same thing at Threads. And then I'm not going to post it at Twitter because I don't have access to my Twitter. don't know how to. I can't tweet. I lack the ability, which is a beautiful thing. It really is a beautiful thing to lose the ability to tweet. Drywin just became a Wimbly Wombly co-owner. Thank you so much, Drywin. Oh yeah, me not having access to Twitter is real good news. Real good news for me. I locked myself out, basically. I had Rosianna, my longtime producing partner, change my password into something that I can't figure out. So there's just no way for me to log on to Twitter anymore, which suits me just fine because after, like 16, 17 years on Twitter, it had started to be real, real bad for me. How close to the end of the signing are we here, asks Ryan. Well, I think we got about 6,850 to go, Ryan. So real close. That's still a solid 13 hours, but real close. I theoretically, if I just buckled down, Ryan, I would be done around 2:00 in the morning. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to spread it out a little more for the sake of my shoulder. But yeah, we're getting there. This is truly the final countdown. I'm excited to do something with my days other than this. Like I miss writing. And then also like everything I've done that's sort of like a leisure activity, like watching TV. I mean, I don't want to complain. But I have been signing a lot since about December 17th. I've been going at least a box a day. So yeah, we're getting there. And I am writing. That's true. I'm writing like Jack Nicholson is writing in The Shining, but I'm not writing like I'd like to be writing. I have been thinking a lot about stories and telling them and what I want to accomplish next year. Every year, Sarah and I both write two letters to ourselves, one looking back at the year that was and one looking ahead at the year to come. And it always turns out that you accomplished a lot more than you thought you did in a year, that you overcame more and grappled with more. And like, it's really helpful to write that letter looking back because it helps me to understand that like, even when I feel like a failure or feel like I'm lazy or whatever, then actually, I did some stuff. I had some stuff to overcome. And in our case, a lot of that this year is private stuff, life stuff. But I had a pretty serious bout of depression over the summer and managed to make it through that. Worked really hard to get through that. I'm proud of that. Turtles All the Way Down movie came out. Proud of that. Proud of the movie. Proud of the work that we did to try to promote it. I wrote, all the revisions for Everything is Tuberculosis this last year and finished the book and got it into a place where, it's able to come out, which I'm proud of. Those are the biggest professional accomplishments, I guess, but also a lot of stuff related to the family and the kids and stuff that we that we can look back on and feel good that we worked through, and yeah, that kind of thing. And then I read a letter looking ahead to the year that will be, what I want to accomplish this year. And for me, I mean, the main thing is that I want to try to hold on to my well-being through all this travel and supporting the book and everything. But I also want to write a novel. I really want to finish a novel this year and got some good starting places for two different projects. And I just need to kind of see which one of those projects wants to come first and work on it and see if I can get done with a solid new draft by the end of the year. And if I can, that would be really, I think the year would be a success professionally. Then other than that, it's about, meeting ongoing commitments, Dear Hank and John, Vlogbrothers. I've still got some episodes of Crash Course Religion left to promote, all that kind of thing. So there's the kind of ongoing commitments part of life, and then there's the new things that you want to try and do. And so other than that, I think that and then the big thing in my personal life that's not about family is just moving more, exercising more, using my body more, rehabbing the shoulder so that it doesn't hurt so much. I'm able to do stuff that I like doing, like bowling and driving, which yesterday I was 2 days ago when Adam saw me at Bottle Works, I was driving and my shoulder just hurts so bad, just like holding it up like that and like having to spin the wheel and everything. So yeah. Alicia says, can somebody remind me of the colors? I think Jen can do that actually. Yeah, there, she just did it. Will there be a new Dear Hank and John soon? We recorded one right before the end of the year. I don't know if it already came out. I don't pay very good attention to when Dear Hank and John comes out. This Sharpie is dying. Let's see if it has 10 more signatures in it. Nope. Nope. I mean, there's no reason to push a Sharpie to its very edge. We've got plenty of Sharpies. I already paid for them. And I don't want people's signatures to look like they came late in the Sharpie and people to be like, oh no, I can tell that my signature came late in the Sharpie and it doesn't look very clean liney. How many Sharpies have I used? 100,000 signatures, about 600, on average 600 signatures a Sharpie. So what is that? Like 180 or something, so somewhere in that neighborhood. A lot of Sharpies, but interestingly, it has finally been confirmed for me that some colors last longer than other colors. Like Tiger Eye Teal, which was the color I did from 90,000 to 100. Beautiful color. It's like a beautiful, rich sort of green, but with a little teal in it. Tiger Eye Teal only lasted like 300 or 400 signatures. This lasts like maybe 600 signatures, but then something like red or blue will last like 650, 700, even 750 signatures. So yeah. Do I like the smell of? I mean, it's all right. I wouldn't say it's my favorite smell, but I really can't smell it from the distance I'm at. I'm like this distance, if that makes sense. Do I recycle the Sharpies? I'm going to try to use them as Project for Awesome perks. So that's a kind of, but no. No, yeah, I wouldn't want to use a scented Sharpie. God, my shoulder. The shoulder also like negatively impacts the signature itself. Like you can tell here, like this is a good signature and this is a bad one. And you can tell that like, this is worse because like I felt the little jolt of pain like right when I was doing that, and so it went offline. My YouTube died, but it has recovered, and now I believe that I'm back, but I haven't seen any comments indicating that I'm back. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if I'm back. I'm back. Jen says I'm back. That means I'm back for sure. All right. I don't know what happened there. It just said, "Aw, snap," which I wasn't really in the mood for YouTube to try to be colloquial. Anyway, good to be back. And back to signing. Can't let that get in my way. Just got to keep going. Usually the Wi-Fi is pretty good in the house. It used to be really bad. People, longtime Project for Awesome viewers will remember when like my internet was always terrible, but it's been good for the last year or two. We had a come to Jesus moment with Comcast. How many are left? Maybe 6,700 now? Here, I'll show you how many I've signed so far today, or so far during the stream. I signed a little bit this morning. I woke up early with the dog and signed for like an hour. But I also had to make a video today. I made my Vlogbrothers video for tomorrow, which is about signing because I can't think about anything else. And so I woke up early, made a Vlogbrothers video, did a little signing. Here's how much I've signed so far on the stream. So That's not bad. That's like 400 maybe. So if that's actually 400, then, and I was at 7,100 last night and I maybe signed 100 this morning, that would put us at like 6,600 to go, something like that. Yeah. Hank just posted on Hank's channel. God, that guy's relentless. I think I work hard. He's just built different. I don't know what it is about us that we can't enjoy the holidays, but neither Hank nor I are able to go very long without working. Shameless promo. Please come to Hill Day in DC this spring, Hannah says. If you can't, we're still missing 18-ish states. It's going to be awesome. And Merry New Year's Eve. Merry New Year's Eve, everybody. Yeah, so if you you can go to tbfighters.org, especially if you live in a weird state. Ask yourself, do I live in a weird state? Do I live in a state where not that many people live? And then if you do, maybe you can come to Washington, D.C. and hang out with me and lots of TB fighters from around the country as we lobby our senators and congresspeople around the very important issue of the NTB Now Act and the general support for anti-tuberculosis work in the United States. It's a really cool opportunity. You get to meet, you get to see a little bit of how the government works, which is a little terrifying, but meet some of the 26-year-olds who are actually writing our laws. And it's a good experience. And plus you'll get to meet me if that's of interest to you. So yeah, check it out, tbfighters.org. I live in a weird state, but it's in the UK. Well, you have to live in a weird state in the United States in order to be able to lobby your senators and Congress people on this topic. But yeah, like we have plenty of people from California and the big states. But if you live in a small state and you're interested in going to Washington, D.C. and seeing the machinations of government up close and lobbying your representatives for better access to TB care, then check it out. Yeah, it's really cool. I think most of y'all have probably done it, but anyway, I learned a lot. I've only done it once. I mean, I call my senator and congressperson every week, but I've only been there in person once. And it was really interesting. I mean, I was yeah, and then I think partly as a result of all the lobbying efforts done by Nerdfighteria, the NTB Now Act passed the Senate unanimously, actually, which is pretty cool, bipartisan issue. But then it got stalled in the House, which was very frustrating, and so we're going to have to do it again. But we are this would really improve the quality of TB programs globally, because the U.S. government is a big funder of TB programs globally, and we need better access to preventative care, better access to the newest medications and everything, and this act would do that. So it's certainly a frustrating time. I think it's safe to say for a lot of us to be engaging with the U.S. government, but you know, TB survivors can't wait. Yeah, I call them every week. I have the same two issues. I would like our government to stop funding needless bombing, and I would like our government to do a better job of responding to the tuberculosis crisis. We are in the final countdown, Rooster. The final countdown, buddy. We're getting there. I mean, maybe like 12, 13 hours to go. 13 hours to go, I think I said earlier. Oh, my shoulder hurts. My shoulder hurts. My shoulder hurts. Do, my shoulder hurts. I've been singing my shoulder hurts songs to different tunes. That kind of helps. Naproxen helps. But on some level, I've just done this to myself. I learned yesterday from my buddy Alex, who he's a dental supply salesperson, and he was telling me that in dentistry there's like type 1 moves, which are like pincer moves. Oh, Rachel just became a Wimbly Wombly co-owner. Thank you, Rachel. And And then there's type 2 moves. And then there's type 3 moves, which are moves like this, where you engage with the shoulder like this does. And he said that type 3 moves are notorious for causing repetitive stress injuries in dentists. And I was like, I think I've just done too many type 3 moves. So it's the two things that hurt are the act of bringing the pen up. Oh no, I messed up that signature because I was thinking out loud. The two things that hurt are the act of bringing the pen up like that, and then the act of bringing the pen over like that. Ow, ow, ow. Yeah. So anyway, what's up on there? Yeah, so I think my job, my chance of being a dentist has pretty much been rendered kaput. But I've been told that, like, I mean, according to my doctor, from what she saw, she thinks that, like, once I stop signing, I'm going to recover really quickly. And, like, I shouldn't need to, like, put my arm in a sling or any of that stuff. Like, I should just sort of recover by virtue of the fact that I'm not doing this motion thousands of times a day. So that's good. Hey, Post just gifted a John Green membership. Post, notorious gifter of John Green memberships. Thank you so much, Post. I appreciate that. We're going to spend that money wisely. So for those of you who are new here or haven't attended a bunch of these signings, all the money that we make from super chats, sorry, I start to laugh as soon as I say this. All the money that comes in from super chats or memberships. I mean, some of it goes to pay Stan, my longtime colleague who runs the Wimbly Wombly streams, but the rest of it goes to AFC Wimbledon's playing budget. And we've been able to use this. Jacob just pre-ordered the book. Thank you, Jacob. And thanks for being a member for 3 months. We're using that money. It's to buy a player in the January transfer window, a real life player. And then we're going to, and then that's going to be Nerdfighteria's player. That's going to be our guy. And we're going to get to root for him aggressively for a long time. Good luck on your phone interview, Kimmy. Oh, look at that. Crimson just donated 5 John Green memberships. That's very nice. I hope all the people who are now members enjoy their memberships. Somebody just said, I've never been an accessory to human trafficking. It is a weird phrase. We're going to buy that guy. I mean, to buy the rights to play for him to play for AFC Wimbledon. We're going to pay him. We're going to pay that guy. That's a better way. It's not really buying a person so much as it's paying a person. We're going to pay a player, and that player will be AFC Wimbledon player, and we'll get to support them in a totally new and exciting way. So I'm really excited to find out from the whole club is excited about this. I talked to the CEO a couple of days ago about something else, and he was like, this thing that you're doing is so great, and it makes us so happy. And and I was like, well, it makes us happy too. I think it's going to be a great time. Oh, James just pre-ordered a signed copy of Everything is Tuberculosis. Thanks, James. I appreciate it. Pre-orders have been going really well the last few days. I think because I've been talking about the book a little more. And I made a post that went like semi-viral on Blue Sky showing all the different colors that I'm signing in. So I don't know if that's what it did, but something did it. And just going to try to keep the momentum up. I mean, one of the things I've been grappling with in thinking about why I've been signing and like, you know, is like, to what extent is it generosity? And to what extent is it a sort of, you know, mercenary tactic to sell more books? And I think, like, you know, the two aren't mutually exclusive, but I don't need to, insofar as it's about selling more books, I don't need to do that, right? So, like, I don't need to be hurting myself to sell more books. Like, if I'm making myself uncomfortable to, like, do a good job of making more autographed copies available so that people will be happy when they get them, like, that's one thing. But if I'm doing it just to sell books, then I should stop because it's not worth my health. So I've been thinking about that, and like, I think it's both, you know, I really do. I'm not, it's hard to be super reflective about yourself, but it's Yeah. Do you think the large print edition of Everything is Tuberculosis will be a bestseller? Not if I do my job, Ray. I mean, the reason the large print edition of Anthropocene Reviewed became a bestseller is because there weren't enough hardcovers printed, and that was partly my fault because I said I wanted to sign the entire first printing, and that limited how many they could print because I could only sign so many. And so this time I've not done that, and hopefully that will mean that that's not as big of a problem. Oh, look, Dan is telling you where people need hill fighters from. So if you're from one of those states, go to tvfighters.org and sign up to be part of the Hill Day. We can hang out, and you can meet with staff members and maybe your state. I'm not signing the large print edition. No, it's actually quite hard to sign a large print edition because they don't. There's not a lot of there's not a lot of white space in which to sign because so much of the book is taken up with printing. It's an interesting fact. So if anything, it would have to be a smaller J scribble. It's not that California isn't welcomed. It's just that we have a lot of people from California who've already signed up. What do I want more? New contract for Sala or to win the Premier League? Oh, I would. I mean, I want to win the Premier League, but why not both? I think Mo Salah should get a new contract because I think he's a special player, and I'd like him to be able to finish his meaningful playing career at Anfield and be here for 10 years so we can have a testimonial game, all that stuff. But I don't see any reason. I mean, to me, re-signing Mohamed Salah makes it more likely that we'll win the Premier League. So I guess if I had to choose, I'd always choose a trophy. No player is bigger than the club, but I don't think I have to choose. I don't think I should have to choose. Oh, that's so sweet that your friend pre-ordered Everything is Tuberculosis for you for Christmas. I hope that this is your signature, Luke. I hope this is the one. I'm going to put a spiral on it in case that is the one. And you can be like, wow, of all the things that might have happened, of all the ways I could have had a 1 in 100,000 piece of luck, that was the way. All right, I'm going to lock in. Ooh. Hurts. All right. I don't think it's better to lock in. I think it's better to not lock in. Violet wants me to take a stretch break, but I don't want to. Is he signing things, Soap asks? Yes, Soap. I am signing sheets of paper that will be bound into my new book, Everything is Tuberculosis, which comes out on March 18th, so that there will be 100,000 signed copies of the book, which is available for pre-order now. So the idea is that anybody who wants a signed copy can get one. In fact, you can get a signed copy right now on Amazon cheaper than you can get an unsigned copy. Because the signed edition is $8 or $9 off the price of the book, whereas the unsigned edition is not as deeply discounted. So get my signature now while it's worth -$7. When will I start touring for the book? March 17th, I think, is the first tour stop, and so the day before the book comes out. But they'll have copies available. Everybody who goes to the book launch will get a copy of the book. And then I'll be on tour basically from March 17th until the end of the month. So, and maybe even early April. So I basically have an event every day in a different city between March 17th and April 1st, 2nd, or 3rd, depending on what the final decision is about the tour. I just saw the Everything is TB official workbook on Amazon. Is that actually official? No. That is something that people do to try to benefit from books that sell well. So like there's also one about turtles all the way down. The one about Everything is Tuberculosis is especially offensive because there's no way that the people selling that workbook have actually read the book, because no one's read the book. So yeah, but no, that's definitely not official. It's like a thing that people do on Amazon to try to leech off successful books. Now I'm glad that Everything is Tuberculosis is successful enough to have those leechers, but yeah, definitely not legit. I don't think you can report it because I think they're allowed to do it. Like they would say like, oh, we just wrote a workbook about tuberculosis and we called it the Everything is Tuberculosis workbook. What's the problem? It's on the edge of legal, Elizabeth. When it comes to copyright law, there's a lot of fuzziness, and a lot of it is done on vibes because it's so expensive to actually pursue legal action. And so it ends up being, I mean, Hank has made a lot of videos about this, but copyright ends up essentially being enforced by corporations and defined by large corporations, kind of in concert with the government, in concert with the courts. But if you look at like YouTube, for instance, their copyright regulations have not been decided by courts, they've been decided by Google. And that can be pretty frustrating, but also Congress has done a terrible job of clarifying where the lines should exist for copyright. And it's very complicated, right? Like it's super complicated. How many lines of poetry should you be allowed to quote before you're quoting too many lines of poetry and you're just stealing the poem from the author? I don't know, 4? But if it's a haiku that's only 4 lines long, then can you quote 4 lines, or do you have to consult with the author and pay them a certain amount of money? It's very complex. I'm thinking about this because we just dealt with it with Everything is TB, because I quote a bunch of poems. There's a bunch of poems in the book, both because Henry Ryder is a poet, the TB patient at the center of the book, but also because TB has played such an important role in global poetry because of its association with the poetic temperament. And that's not just true in like Northern Europe and the US, by the way. It's also true in Japan and India. And so I look at poetry from around the world and like its relationship between illness and poetic expression. My uncle does AI IP for Microsoft, and it's so interesting to learn about. Yeah, I mean, that's even more complicated. I have no idea how to, but it's a lot of Wild West stuff. And so corporations can get away with a lot that, individuals can't. Rachel, thank you for your very kind words. That's very nice. I had arepas for lunch, which were delicious. We got a new Venezuelan restaurant in Indianapolis, which is very good, at 86th and Ditch. What Wimbledon game should I go see in 2025? I mean, you should go see all of them. If you live in London, I'll be at the one on, when am I going? February 1st, I think. So go then. Maybe we'll run into each other. It's a big stadium, but it's always possible. This is a big mess of books here. Yeah, if you live in London, you should go every week. Oh man, what I wouldn't give to live in London and be able to go see AFC Wimbledon every week. I was just asking Alice this morning if we could move to London, and she said no because she likes her friends here, which I get. I like my friends here too, but I bet we'd have friends in London, and then we could see AFC Wimbledon every week. All right, here's what we've done so far during the stream. Oh, you can see here, they're a little chaotic, but the lector jog can take care of that. Angel thinks we should all move to London. Oh, you can't go every week because you have a Fulham addiction. That's terrible. I'm so sorry. I understand, though. I have an AFC Wimbledon addiction. Okay. Just going to hold that for a second. Okay. Okay. That was a stretch, Violet. That was a stretch. Oh, and Marvel Superhero has an addiction to playing ice hockey, which is a good addiction, right? Like, as long as you're not like getting concussions every week. So I get it. I have an addiction to watching AFC Wimbledon on Saturdays. I'm also, AFC Wimbledon's playing today at 3, so I'll be watching that. And I was thinking about live streaming that and like doing a watch along, but I don't know. I think I got to sign. Realistically, I got to sign everything that's behind me. I have to sign that today. That has to be. Ice helps. I have 2 machines that I got when this first happened, like 3 or 4 weeks ago. One is an ice machine for my shoulder. It's not a machine. It's like a thing. I don't know how to describe it. It's an ice thing for my shoulder, and the other is a heating pad that like wraps around my neck and heats my shoulder. And so what I do is use ice and heat off and on. One ice, one heat, one ice, one heat. But I'll do that later today. I don't need to do that yet. I'm still rocking the naproxen. I'm rocking with naproxen. Yeah, this is definitely something that AI could take over. But then it wouldn't be me signing my name. And part of the magic of it for me is that there is literally a page in the book that both of us touched. And to do that at scale is really hard. And obviously I won't be able to do it anymore after this because I have to retire from signing. But I don't know. I've really valued that. The fact that there's 700,000 books out there that have been touched both by me and by the reader. It's kind of lovely. It's just that to me, it's an expression of what reading is at its core, which is a commingling. Oh, Iconic Stew says, I just poured myself my first Keats & Co. tea, Golden Moon. I'll chat my opinion shortly. Can't wait to hear your opinion. Hope you enjoy it. I'm a fan of Golden Moon. It's one of my go-tos. I'm retiring from signing pretty much entirely. So my doctor said, like, maybe if, I won't have a book come out for at least a year. And she was like, look, I have some long-term problems without getting into the details of it. So I have some like stuff that's just going to be a problem for the rest of my life with the shoulder and with the wrist. And that's just repetitive stress injury stuff. But she was like, look, maybe you do this in a year, you feel fine and, you can sign 10,000 or 20,000 sheets or something for pre-orders, but you can't do it on this scale anymore, where you try to sign a bunch of books that to go into bookstores and Costco and Target and everything else. The injury is from signing, yeah. So it's just a repetitive. Go watch the Hanks channel video and then come right back. What's the Hanks channel video about? Curious. Is weed worse than gambling? that's just the kind of thing I'm happy Hank's tackling. I know Swindon Town is flirting with relegation. As the former manager of the Swoodle Peepers, do you have any thoughts on this? Yinzer says. Oh, I'm really sad about it. Although I was disappointed when AFC Wimbledon just tied with Swindon, even though it helped Swindon. I'm really sad about it. Swindon is they've suffered so much. They have one of the highest attendances in League Two. They're a really big club in the sense that they have a really large fan base. They've just never had good owners. And it's a good example of what happens when, fans don't get a say in the running of the club to me. I could get into stamping, but it's not the same. To me, it's just not the same. Oh, wow. Haley says that the TB team in Alaska just got cut in half with 4 days notice, which is really sad to hear. Alaska is one of the places where TB remains most prevalent, especially in indigenous communities. And so that's pretty sad to hear, pretty frustrating. I'm really sorry to hear that. We could get paw prints from Potato. I actually think that would take longer. Nothing against Potato, but he's not the most efficient at repetitive actions. I feel like Potato would get really bored. He gets bored so easily. He's like you'll be in the middle of playing fetch with him, and he's like, I'm moving on now. I'm moving on to a new game. Are there any documentaries about TB we should check out? None that I know of. I mean, there was a good PBS documentary made like 10 or 15 years ago that's about TB in the United States, but it's very limited to the US. Who writes laws, but I'm a 25-year-old government attorney in DC who enforces them. Thank you for taking a PTO day to fight TB. That's pretty cool of you. Ooh, that hurts. I like that song, The TB Blues. I think it's mentioned in Vidya Krishnan's book, actually. Yeah, I think ultimately the problem is with scale. Like the irony of trying to do this was always that I was like, as my books became more popular, I mean, this started with The Fault in Our Stars. That was the first time I sort of signed over 100,000 sheets. And part of what I was doing was trying to reckon with what it meant. Like, what does 100,000 mean? What does it mean that 100,000 people want to read your book? I'd never had 100,000 people read one of my books before. I hadn't had 100,000 people read all of my books combined. And so I was trying to reckon with that. That was part of what was happening. But I also think there was a sense in which I was trying to like not lose the intimacy of connection between reader and writer as my audience increased dramatically. And that ultimately is a fool's errand, because the book will connect with a reader or won't in a way that's intensely personal to them. and that obviously it requires me to bring my full self to the text, but it also requires the reader to bring their full self to the text and to read it as generously as possible. I mean, I've said this a million times, but a generous reader makes a good book great, and an ungenerous reader can make a great book bad. When I read The Great Gatsby in high school and hated it, the problem was not with The Great Gatsby. It was with my lack of generosity as a reader. And so I think that my hope anyway, is that I don't need to physicalize this process in order for that connection to still be there. Because when one particular person is reading a book, their version is so specific and unique to them because they're bringing themselves to it and their own set of experiences, their own set of connections, their own memories. And I just need to allow for that to happen now. I need to move on from this idea that somehow I was going to keep close to the reader through signing or in the ways that I used to be able to. Because when I first started out, I remember when MySpace was a thing, I added every single person as a friend who listed Looking for Alaska as one of their favorite books on MySpace. I went through and I added each of them, or I sent a friend request to each of them and a little note that said, thanks for reading Looking for Alaska and saying it's one of your favorite books. And that kind of, there will come a day when I'm able to make that kind of connection with readers again, but because, my books will get less popular every year, but right now I think this way of doing it just clearly isn't sustainable. So I got to find other ways of doing it, other ways of expressing gratitude. That's got real Tom energy. Yeah, I don't think Tom sent individualized messages though. Good old Tom from MySpace. I hope he's doing well. I think he pursued photography after he sold MySpace to the Murdoch family. Yeah, SRN says letting go is hard, and that's true. It does feel like a kind of letting go, and it's also an acceptance. Anytime something is taken away from you because of your physical failures or whatever, there's a process of acceptance there. That's a little difficult for me. I don't want to, I'm 47 years old. When I started doing this, I was 34. So, my body's different. Things my body can do are a little different. And, that part of growing, continuing to grow up and grow older can be pretty tough to reconcile yourself to. And this is just the beginning of it, of course. There's only more to come. But yeah. All right, I'm going to stack and we're going to jog. How's Wrexham doing this year? Oh, they're doing great. They're doing great. I think they're second in League One. It's a lot harder to get promoted from League One to the Championship than it is to get promoted from League Two to League One, but I suspect they'll still get promoted. And I'm so happy for Wrexham fans. It must just be awesome to be on this ride. It must be really, really fun. And I hope they're having a great time and soaking in every second of it. Someday that will be Wimbledon's story. Someday we'll be marching up the leagues, but for now, you got to feel happy for the people who do get to do it. Whoo! All right. I'm going to do that one. Yarger, burger, darger, bogle, blugo. And this one. All right. It's time to joggity, 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 joggity. I have to manually jog a little. I just like to keep them straight enough, But look, don't worry. They're going to be so much straighter. Watch this. I'm going to spin you around. I spin you right round, baby, right round like a record. Round, right round. Where's the jogger? There's the jogger. Oh, yeah. In all its glory. I'll get you a little closer. Who's calling me? Who's calling me? I'll call her back. Okay. Okay, let me spin around the light so we really get some good light on that jogger. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. So we take the pages that we just signed, or I take the pages that I just signed. You were part of the process, but you didn't sign. Put them in the jogger. Then we got to plug the jogger in. That's a critical part of the story. Plug in the jogger. This is a machine from like 1957, but look how perfectly it works. Joggity, joggity, joggity. And then in just a few seconds, what you end up with is a perfect stack of papers. The joy is palpable. It's perfect. We're up to, yeah, we're getting there. Getting there. 6,500, 6,300 left to sign, maybe. Joggity, 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 joggity. Oh, yeah. Look at this. Look at this. I mean, look at that. It's just every single time what it produces is the platonic ideal of stacked sheets. Let's see if we can do a big one. Is this too big? No, I think it's perfect. I think it can handle the challenge. It did. It did. It did. Look at this. Just perfect. Oh, it makes me so happy. Brings me such joy to use the Electro Jogger. Of all the things I'll miss about signing, I think I'll miss the Electro Jogger the most. You know, it's just gonna, it's a loss. There's no two ways about it. Hey, so since you stayed till the end of the live stream, I've got a surprise for you. But it's the advanced reader's copy of Everything is Tuberculosis, my new book. Here it is. Here it is. Let's hope there's no, look, here's the dedication page. This book is dedicated to Shreya Tripathi, Henry Ryder, and TB fighters everywhere. And, oh, you know what else it has that, that nobody will notice because like nobody ever looks at the copyright page is I wrote a little bit about the font. It's my favorite font. No. Here, I'll read you the little bit about the font. This book is laid out in Bembo, a typeface named for Cardinal Pietro Bembo. In 1496, Bembo, the person, wrote the first book to be laid out in Bembo, the font. It's a short book, a dialogue with his father about climbing Mount Etna. At one point in the story, Bembo asks his father, "Where do these fires come from? And once they've come into being, how do they keep going?" These questions are about the volcanic fires of Mount Etna, of course, but it seems to me they're also about the overall human situation. I've tried to write here about the fire of tuberculosis, where it came from, and what keeps it, how it came into being, and how it keeps going. And so Bembo felt like the right font. There you go. Everything is Tuberculosis. March 18th, 2025. Bembo is a great font. Look, this is what it looks like. It's a good font. All right. Thanks for being here. Hope that you're having a good day. Merry New Year's Eve. And, may 2025 be a year that fulfills our hopes and prayers. DFTBA. No, it's not in paperback, Moira. It's only the advanced readers copies that are paperback. The finished book is very, very much a hardcover. I might be back later today, depending on how the signing goes. We'll see. But thanks for being here, and DFTBA.